Well, good evening from Mission Control Houston. Good morning to our friends over in Baikonur, and welcome to our live coverage of Soyuz docking here on NASA TV. In just a little over 41 minutes, Jeff Williams, Alex Kropochka, and Alexei Ovchinin are going to be docking to the International Space Station. Their Soyuz TMA-20M vehicle fitted out and ready to begin its final trip to dock with the Poise module on board the orbiting laboratory. The team here in Mission Control did its final go, no-go just a couple of minutes ago. Everything on board the station ready to welcome these three crew members on board. But of course, all of the action has been overseen throughout the day by their counterparts over in the Russian Mission Control Center in Koryov, just outside of Moscow. They've been speaking throughout the day ever since the launch just under 6 hours ago to the Soyuz commander Alexei Ovchinin riding center seat in the Soyuz spacecraft with Alex Kropochka on his left and Jeff Williams on his right. Again, the three launched just about 6 hours ago. That launch coming successfully from the Baikonur Cosmodrome at 4:26 p.m. Central Time. And the three crew members on board, their Soyuz rocket blasting off in the very early morning hours, just about 3:26 in the morning there in Baikonur. The Soyuz rocket, the first stage engines firing, the roar going out across the desert and then lifting off right on time, carrying these three crew members flawlessly up into orbit. The engines performed completely as expected. No issues were tracked with the vehicle, and just under 9 minutes later, all three crew members were in their preliminary orbit on their way towards the International Space Station. Since that time, the Soyuz has executed a number of burns. The engines on board the spacecraft themselves executing 4 different what's known as delta velocity burns, basically just to continue to raise the orbit up until it's at the same plane as the International Space Station, catching up after just 4 orbits in just about 6 hours and bringing us to where we sit right now. And again, we are just under 40 minutes away from docking, to be exact 39 minutes and 7 seconds and counting. The Soyuz spacecraft going to be docking to the Poise module, also known as the Mini Research Module 2. It's on the space-facing side of the Russian segment on board the International Space Station, and it's been vacant ever since the one-year crew members Scott Kelly and Mikhail Kornienko departed along with Sergei Volkov at the beginning of March. There's still a couple of milestones coming up before they arrive there. The next major one going to be the fly around of the International Space Station. That's just a little over 13 minutes and change away. At that point, the vehicle will begin to literally fly around the station. It'll be at a distance of about 400 meters or a little over 1,300 feet to fly around the station and align itself with the Poise docking module. It'll then begin a period of what's known as station keeping, basically just fine-tuning the alignment with the Poise docking module, doing any final adjustments before that final approach begins. Final approach is scheduled to start at 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern, but Soyuz crews have been known to get ahead of time, so that could change. But the docking, as of right now, is scheduled to take place at 10:11 p.m. Central Time, 11:11 p.m. Eastern. So again, no issues right now with the vehicle being tracked. Everything continuing to be lined up for this on-time docking. And again, this is going to be Jeff Williams, Alex Kropochka, and Alexei Ovchinin joining the crew of Expedition 47. For Jeff Williams, this is his third long-duration stay on board the International Space Station. That's going to be a NASA record. He's also going to be breaking the record for most cumulative days in space for a NASA astronaut. The record set by Scott Kelly during his one-year mission not standing for very long, as Jeff Williams is going to come home the new record holder when he returns later on this year in the fall. For Alex Kropochka, this is his second mission, having previously flown for Expeditions 25 and 26. And then Alexei Ovchinin, the rookie amongst the crew, and also the Soyuz commander, making his first flight into space. He's also going to be the 222nd individual to visit the International Space Station. And so a couple of impulse burns still on the timeline for the vehicle. Impulse 4 confirmed to have just been done nominally or successfully. There will be 2 more impulse burns just to, again, continue to close in on the International Space Station. At this point, the vehicle just about 5 kilometers away or less and closing. And then it's just going to continue to close this gap until it's about 400 meters or a little over 1,300 feet away. And that's when we'll begin that station keeping phase, or the fly around phase for a correction there. And that's scheduled to start at 9:47 p.m. Central, 10:47 p.m. Eastern. And we just reacquired our video communication with the International Space Station, so the Kronos officer here in Mission Control operating the cameras on the outboard of the International Space Station, going to try and find us a view. They were able to get their first look at the Soyuz approaching at about 9:11 p.m. Central, so a little over 25 minutes ago. The vehicle came into view, and Alexei Ovchinin has remarked repeatedly in his conversation with the ground controllers in Koryov that the station was well within his crosshairs and the periscopes that they have available to them, so well within sight of each other, and we should have a good video communication with the International Space Station during the final phase of docking, so hopefully should get a good look at this Soyuz as it makes its final approach to dock to that Poisk module again. So right now 34 minutes 15 seconds and counting away from docking, but again fly around the next major milestone on the list for tonight, and that's going to take place in just a little over 9 minutes from now. So both the station and the Soyuz right now flying just over the heart of Australia. That's what you're seeing in the background there. Both vehicles at an altitude of just about 255 statute miles. And by the time the Soyuz actually docks about 33 minutes from now, they'll have traveled all the way across most of the Pacific and approaching South America. So both vehicles traveling at about 17,500 miles an hour are going to cover a lot of ground just over the next milestones for this evening. And so this is a view from the camera on board the Soyuz spacecraft. The numbers to pay attention to in the bottom left, that top number, the distance away, so just a little over 1 1/3 kilometer from the station, closing in at just a little under 4.5 meters per second. And there's a great shot of the station now in view, well in view of the camera on board the Soyuz spacecraft, continuing to close in, just 6 minutes and counting away from the anticipated start of the fly-around. And so the Soyuz now less than a kilometer away from the station,
range rate is
continuing to close in.
3.32 meters per second for final approach. We copy all.
So again, the Soyuz is going to continue to close in until a distance of just about 400 meters away. Should be there in right around the next 4.5 minutes. And at that point, the Soyuz will stop and then begin its fly around to get it to the top side or the space-facing side of the station, lining it up with that poise module that the vehicle is going to be docking to in just a little over 29 minutes from now.
Range is 760. Range rate is 2.88 meters per second for final approach. We copy. The time is 05:43:20. Range 680 meters. Range rate 18 meters per second. Copy.
The Soyuz continuing its gradual approach. The visiting vehicle officer here in Houston reporting the impulse 6 burn has been completed. That should be the final impulse burn of the Soyuz.
Point 5:44:05. 590 range 1.88 meters per second range rate. Copy.
So Soyuz continuing to approach 2 minutes, 15 seconds away from the anticipated start of the fly around.
Seeing the image right now, there is interference. We copy. Point 5:44:50.
The station well in view there. You can see the full acre of solar arrays on either side. If you look at the middle part on kind of the bottom side where you can see a Soyuz all the way, or a Progress rather, all the way at the very bottom of that, that's the very far end of the Russian segment. We're actually looking at the Earth-facing side of the station, so the Soyuz is going to be essentially making a loop and swinging up over to the other side, so it'll be looking straight down at the station and planet Earth beneath. Once there, it'll be lined up with that poise docking module and be able to begin its final approach. Fly around should start in a little less than a minute and a half. That final approach about 15 minutes and counting.
.54555.
And we're just about a minute away from the anticipated start of the fly around, so we'll stand by and await confirmation.
25 meters to 6 range rate.
And also approaching 400 meters away, which again, the anticipated distance for that fly around.
.54630, 400 meters, 1.14 meters per second range rate.
And getting confirmation the fly around has begun. So they're about 17 seconds or so ahead of schedule, but the fly around beginning at 9:46 p.m. Central, 10:46 p.m. Eastern Time. So again, the Soyuz craft now executing a maneuver to swing itself over the top of the International Space Station. So it'll be lined up with the Poise module.
360 meters range rate, 1 meter per second range rate for final approach. And we are performing fly around to the docking port. Copy. Range 350 meters, range rate 0.8 meters per second. Copy.
Принято.
330 meters, 0.8 meters per second range rate. Copy.
And there's a good view of the Soyuz spacecraft. The cameras on the outside of the space station capturing it there.
Range 300 meters, 0.73 meters per second.
This fly around procedure typically taking about 10 minutes or so. The range data indicating the Soyuz less than 300 meters away from the station at this point.
0.548.
It's going to continue to close in. The final approach typically begins at a distance of less than 200 meters, so that station keeping right at around 200 meters or about 640 feet away from the station.
270 meters, 0.58 meters per second for final approach. Copy.
Принято.
Getting a great look at the Soyuz TMA-20M spacecraft. NASA's Jeff Williams and Roscosmos cosmonauts Alex Kropotkin and Alexei Ovchinin on board, executing the fly-around maneuver to swing themselves onto the top side of the International Space Station. Pretty soon they'll be staring straight down the barrel of the Poise module and also looking down at Earth. And then at that point they'll be ready to execute their final approach and then dock to the station, which will be their home for a little over 6 months.
240 meters, 0.4 meters per second. We are not observing the image at this time. Copy. Range 240 meters, 0.3 meters per second range rate. Copy.
Принято.
Бурлаки.
Бурлаки, также ведите репортаж по
Please
углам пилинга.
Report acquisition as
Си
well.
это стильный.
Понял.
And the Soyuz passing behind a radiator from that view.
50 meters, range rate 0.2 meters per second.
0,2 метра в секунду на сближение.
And acquisition angle 91 on your
Урывками
and
91 градус.
29
Вот он газу 29
for
градусов.
course
Принято.
bearing.
Moscow Station Space Tower 1.
220 meters, 0.1 meters per second.
Go ahead, Yuri.
0,1 на сближение.
Принято.
And the fly around still continuing. Soyuz soon will be lining up with the Poisk module.
Специалист ТВ пропал. Прошло.
We'll keep an eye out to see if one of the station external cameras get a view.
Range
Coverage.
Also standing by to reacquire the TV signal from the Soyuz itself.
So all the units
Range,
are
copy.
unpowered.
Принято. Си это.
Okay, we're going to look into that.
73 and 27 degrees.
Это 27 градусов.
Принято.
Copy. Point 550, 35, range 200 meters,
Дальность
range rate 0.1 meters per
0,1
second,
на
C
сближение.
64 degrees,
ВЛС
delta
54
is
градуса.
25 degrees.
Это 25
Copy.
Принято.
Range 200 meters, range rate
Дальность 200 метров.
0.1 meter per second for final approach.
And there's another view of that Soyuz vehicle. Again, the fly around continuing.
Это 22 градуса.
Copy.
Принято.
Бурлаки at
Бурлаки с
54 to
54 до
57
57
minutes
минут.
we may have
Возможно,
Reticom.
неустойчивая связь.
Please
Should just be another few minutes
Подробный репортаж.
in the fly around for the Soyuz.
copy.
And at that point, it'll be ready to begin station keeping. Just that final fine tuning between it and the Poisk docking module. Then the final approach will begin. The final approach scheduled to come just a little over 6 minutes, 40 seconds from now.
C angle 43 degrees,
ВЛС
beta 18
43
degrees.
градуса. Это 18 градусов.
Copy.
Принято.
And we did just lose our KU signal with the International Space Station, our video signal for the next couple of minutes. That should
Принято.
resume at about 10:03 p.m. Central Time or so. Everything's still on track for docking at 10:11 p.m. Central, 11:11 p.m. Eastern.
Range rate about
Около нуля.
C is
Угол Си
about
34 градуса.
45
Это
and 40
14 градусов.
degrees for beta angle. Copy.
Принято.
Point
And again, the teams in the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov riding shotgun for all of the operations today, overseeing the Soyuz TMA-20M's trip to the International Space Station, corresponding with the Soyuz commander Alexei Ovchinin. Still in that fly-around mode, should be completing in the next couple of minutes. And again, by the time fly-around is complete, they'll be at a range of just about 200 meters, give or take a couple of meters.
at 180 meters.
And then once they're in that station-keeping mode, they do the final fine-tuning, be ready to begin that final approach and approach the docking module on Poisk, on the space-facing side of the International Space Station.
По получению завкон на
When you
причал
look at
на формате
format
44
44 at pre-chill,
переходим причаливание
start
самостоятельно.
berthing on your own. I copy.
Вас понял.
100. Range 180 meters. Range rate is about 0. Sea angle 4 degrees beta 0.
4 градуса, тета 0.
Copy.
Принято.
Roll maneuver is observed.
Разворот по крену.
What's your question?
Повторите, не поняли. Плохо слышно.
Транспарант
Причал,
К-15, причал горит.
Есть, только что загорелся.
Indicator just got on.
Принято.
Загорелся К-15.
K15
Принято,
is
К-15
illuminated. Copy.
So again, we're just standing by for the confirmation that the fly around has been completed. Again, they'll go into station keeping and the crew will get the go-ahead to begin their final approach when ready. Everything on target for that docking, scheduled at 10:11 p.m. Central, 11:11 p.m. Eastern.
Пока.
The team here in Mission Control following along.
A few minutes here. Copy.
Понятно.
Burlaki.
Бурлаки, как нас слышно?
Burlak 1, I can hear you loud and clear. How us?
Слышу вас хорошо.
Loud and
Нас слышно.
clear,
Слышно вас хорошо,
please
принимаем.
report
Ведите подробный
in
репортаж.
detail. Point 557,
Время
50,
05,
190 meters,
дальность 190 метров,
range
скорость
rate 0.04,
0,04 на
sea
сближение,
angle 3 degrees,
угол
theta
3 градуса, тета 1
1
градус.
degrees, and
Выполняется
we
разворот
are
по крену.
having the roll maneuver in front of the designated docking port. Copy.
Бурлаки, у вас установлен сейчас рассеивающий экран.
Dissipating screen is installed. Is that correct? No, it's not.
Нет,
The dissipating screen is not
Принято.
installed. Copy. Burlak 197 meters. Range rate is about 0. We are station keeping by.
So we might be getting some video back shortly from the Soyuz itself. There, a view from one of the station cameras. As you can see, the fly around has been completed. The Soyuz now in that period of what's known as station keeping, basically just fine-tuning the alignment. It is just about 195 meters away from its docking port to the International Space Station, so just a little under 640 feet. And we're going to stand by and wait for the start of final approach, where the Soyuz will begin to drive forward for its docking port, ultimately slowing down to only 1/10 of a meter per second, or 0.22 miles per hour, so very slow crawl into that final docking port.
Go ahead and issue the
Нет,
command
выдаем
right now.
сейчас, бурлаки.
Copy.
Сейчас выдаем.
055945, berthing command is issued. Copy. This is Burlak 1.
я Бурлак.
Copy.
Принято.
We have
Есть причал.
issued the command. We are accelerating at 90 meters, 0.5 meters per second. The increasing.
And the visiting vehicle officer confirming final approach has begun right on time at 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern.
180 meters,
Should only take about 10 or 11 minutes before docking occurs. Everything on track for that 10:11 p.m. Central Time docking this evening, with the Soyuz TMA-20M now closing in on the International Space Station.
167 meters, range rate 0.84 meters per second.
84 на сближение.
Принято.
And again, we should get video back from the cameras on the International Space Station in just about 3 minutes, so We'll cross our fingers and hope that shows up pretty quick, but should have video for that final approach, that final docking of the Soyuz spacecraft to the station. But again, the Soyuz now on final approach. Alexei Ovchinin, Alex Kropotkin, and NASA's Jeff Williams making their final way in towards the International Space Station.
3 meters per second range rate. Copy.
Принято.
Alex, SSVP is next for you. Page 64, range 115 meters, range rate 0.58 meters per second. For final approach, copy.
Принято.
Range 0605.
So just heard the call from the crew reporting a closure rate of 0.58 meters per second. For those in the U.S. following along, that's just about 1.3 miles per hour. So closing in very slowly now on that Poisk module, just about 9.5 minutes away from the anticipated time of docking.
Docking ports, copy.
Принято.
Range 90 meters, 0.49 meters per second. Range rate, copy. meters, 0.39 meters per second. We can see the target and the docking node.
And there's our video signal once again. This the camera on the Soyuz spacecraft itself continuing to close in. You can see them just 75 meters away.
Second range rate, copy.
Принято.
And getting a close-up view of the vehicle, you can see it reflecting a lot of sun. The sun actually just about to set on the station and the Soyuz spacecraft in its final approach.
Meters, 0.32 meters per second. Copy.
Принято.
Meters range, 0.2 meters per second range rate. For final approach, copy.
Принято.
60 meters in closing, just about 196 feet away. The Soyuz continuing to close in on Poisk. You can see the docking port just a little to the left and up from the center of your view here.
2 meters per second range rate.
This again the camera on board the Soyuz spacecraft.
Принято.
The probe is extended. The
Принято.
system is powered on. We can see on the format that transfer hatch is closed.
And as you can see, the sun has now set on the station and the Soyuz. Both are quickly approaching the far west coast of South America. Just about 40 meters in closing.
Принято.
Record closed. Copy. Indicator closed. 35 meters. 0.15 meters per second range rate.
Принято.
We got confirmation the Core's antenna has been retracted on the Soyuz spacecraft. Again, that's the antenna. The Core's is the automated rendezvous system that the Soyuz spacecraft uses. Also able to be docked manually by the commander on board the Soyuz spacecraft, but the Core's operating successfully so far with this docking. Should just be under 6 minutes away.
25 meters, 0.11 meters per second range rate. Copy.
Принято.
The crosshairs collected at the axis of the designated docking port. Copy.
Принято.
Meters, 0.1 meters per second range rate.
So 22 meters, or just about 72 feet away from the docking port on Poisk. The Soyuz continuing to close in. It's now slowed down to that roughly 1/10 of a meter per second closure rate, where it's going to hold for the rest of this final approach.
Second range rate. SSVP is ready, observing the structure. AR base in. 27 meters, range 0.11 meters per second. Copy.
Принято.
Meters range, 0.12 meters per second range rate, crosshairs collected. Clear docking port, no foreign objects, 20 meters range, 0.12 meters per second range rate.
Принято.
The vehicle now within 20 meters away.
0.11 meters per second range rate.
Should just be about 3 minutes away from docking.
10 meters range, 0.11 meters per second range rate, crosshairs collected.
Принято.
Small bars of the electronic periscope crosshairs and the target slide bars. Eight meters, 0.14 meters per second range rate. Copy, crosshairs collected. Observing the image.
And we're standing by for the contact and capture.
The target match.
Standing by for docking of the Soyuz to the Poisk module.
0.13 meters per second. Range rate. Crosshairs connected, waiting for contact. We have contact. We have capture.
And contact and capture. The Soyuz TMA-20M now docked to the International Space Station.
Congratulations.
The official docking time coming at 10:09 and 55 seconds Central Time, 11:09 55 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. The Soyuz spacecraft carrying Jeff Williams, Oleg Skropochkin, and Alexei Ovchinin docked now to the International Space Station. So with that, a journey of about 6 hours and quite a few miles now complete. The crew members now docked to what will be their home for the next 6.5 months. and the crew of Expedition 47 just about an hour and a half away from effectively doubling in size. Now with the vehicle docked, we're going to stand by until the hooks between the Soyuz and the Poisk module will close, securing the vehicle in place, and that'll ensure it has a secure mate to the International Space Station. But again, docking coming successfully 10:09 p.m. Central Time, 11:09 p.m. Eastern Time. The station and the Soyuz flying just about 253 statute miles over the southern Pacific off the western coast of Peru.
Burlak Mission Control Moscow, how do you read us? Mission Control Moscow, Burlak 1, you're loud and clear. We're on page 67. Copy.
Принято.
Please report on commanding. After RTV closure, expecting your measurements on table 10, page 61. Copy. R7 command is to be issued. Copy. R6 is the GS mode, deactivating the floodlight. A18 in work. Closing RPV1.
So again, we're just standing by to hear that the hooks have closed.
Point 6. 1300. 842 pressure in the descent module. In the orbital.
And again, with the vehicle now docked, the clock starts ticking towards the anticipated hatch opening when these three new crew members will be able to make their way into the International Space Station. For now, though, once all the hooks are closed and they do all the final power downs and all the necessary preps on the Soyuz vehicles, the three crew members inside the spacecraft will be able to start executing leak checks of the Soyuz modules. They'll also be able to get out of their Sokol launch and entry suits and then get ready again for that hatch opening. The hatch opening is scheduled to come a little over an hour and a half from now at 11:55 p.m. Central, 12:55 a.m. Eastern. At which point Expedition 47 Commander Tim Kopra, European astronaut Tim Peake, and Russian cosmonaut Yuri Malenchenko will welcome these three new crew members on board the orbiting laboratory. But again, standing by for that final confirmation that the hooks have closed and the Soyuz securely in place to the Poisk module.
17 is not illuminated. Copy.
Принято.
And there we see Expedition 47 Commander Tim Kopra, the crew on board, doing a little bit of sleep shifting in order to accommodate this docking this evening.
In work, V18 and the indicators of periscope base count Bruce is to be deactivated now. Deactivated. Copy.
Undocking the connection for the light, and we are stowing the unit in the container. We copy.
Принято.
Okay, we have removed the light and we're stowing it. We copy.
Принято.
We're standing by for the D17 illumination to confirm that the hooks are closed.
Верно.
Copy. We're standing by for D17 to confirm that the hooks are closed. We have the message that the hooks are closed at 06:15:30.
Принято.
We copy. D13 is not illuminated, and the clamps are activated.
Принято.
We are standing by for the message that the hooks have been...
And so just got word from the visiting vehicle officer here in Houston, the hooks on the Soyuz vehicle have closed. We'll just stand by for the hooks on the Poisk module, the MRM-2, to be closed, and that will wrap up our docking coverage. But again, here inside the station, you can see in the Destiny Laboratory, Expedition 47 Commander and NASA astronaut Tim Kopra awake for the day. He's going to be getting ready to welcome these 3 new crew members to Expedition 47. And just getting word the hooks are driving now on the Poisk module, so should be closed shortly, and the Soyuz will be securely in place.
We see that the latches have been retracted. This message have come up at 0635. We copy. We are standing by for the D11. We're standing by for D11. Affirmative. D11 confirmed at 0.
And so we just got confirmation that the hooks on the Poisk module have been closed, so the Soyuz now securely in place to its new home for the next 6 months. Again, the docking coming successfully at 10:09 p.m. Central Time, 11:09 p.m. Eastern Time. The Soyuz TMA-20M carrying Jeff Williams, Oleg Skropochka, and Alexei Ovchinin now firmly affixed to the International Space Station. And now we're just a little over an hour and a half away from the anticipated hatch opening, so we are going to break away for a little while, but the hatch is scheduled to be open at 11:55 p.m. Central Time, 12:55 a.m. Eastern Time. Once the hatches are open, the crew members will be able to make their way into the International Space Station, greet their fellow Expedition 47 crew members, and then set up for a call to their friends, family, well-wishers, and NASA and Roscosmos officials that have been watching all these events unfold from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. So be sure to rejoin us in just a little while for that hatch opening. We're going to break away while the crew on board gets out of their SOCA launch and entry suits and conducts all of these leak checks, but we'll be back in just a little while for that hatch opening coverage. So with that, a successful docking, a Soyuz arrived, and soon 3 new crew members making their way into the International Space Station. We'll go ahead and sign off for now. This is Mission Control Houston.